Hey, I'm Gareth from Park Cameras, and as you may well be aware, Fujifilm have announced their brand new X-T3. Now, we got a bit of time to play with it at the launch event, and you can view our first look hands-on impressions by clicking the link up in here, or the link down in the description as well to watch our full video on that. But I wanted to make a quick video for you, just highlighting the key differences between the X-T3 and the X-T2, what's new, what's been upgraded, and things like that. Now, because of the nature of the video, as you can imagine, it's going to be fairly spec heavy, so if that's not your thing, absolutely no worries. Hopefully we can get our hands on the actual camera again really soon and be able to bring you a full review, but in the meantime, thought this might be helpful. Now, I've got some pieces of paper here with the spec on, because it's a lot to learn, so I'm going to refer to that occasionally, but otherwise, let's kick things off with the sensor. So the X-T3 has the brand new X-Trans CMOS 4 sensor, and where the X-T2 featured 24.3 megapixels, the X-T3 has 26.1 megapixels. So there's a bit of an advantage there, a bit of an upgrade, just giving you a little bit more detail in the pictures. The X-T3 also has the brand new X Processor 4, which allows it to start up and perform faster than the X-T2, which means in terms of continuous shooting speed, the X-T2 could shoot at 9 frames per second, or 11 frames per second if you put the battery grip on, and the X-T3 can shoot 11 frames per second with just the body. Now, that's with the mechanical shutter. When you talk about the electronic shutter, the X-T2 was able to shoot 14 frames per second, and the X-T3 can shoot 20 frames per second. So that's a nice big jump there. That's because that new processor is able to just perform faster like that. So in terms of ISO sensitivity, where the X-T2 will go down to ISO 200, unless you extended it, the X-T3 will go down to ISO 160, again, unless you extend it. So there's a little bit of advantage there for the X-T3, but we're now coming on to the big, more impressive upgrades to the X-T3. So let's start with autofocus. So the X-T2 had 325 autofocus points with around about 38% coverage, whereas the X-T3 has 425 autofocus points with 100% coverage, which is really, really impressive. That's an impressive stat just by itself. 100% coverage is incredible, but that's a big jump from the X-T2. That's a really, really impressive leap in technology they've added in there. So the next big jump is in video capabilities. So the X-T2 was able to shoot 4K at up to 30 frames per second, and that was up to 100 megabits per second. It could also shoot full HD at up to 60 frames per second. Whereas, and this is a big deal, the X-T3 can shoot 4K at up to 60 frames per second, and that's up to 400 megabits per second, and it'll shoot full HD 1080p video at up to 120 frames per second. Now that's a big deal. That's a lot of video spec there, and that's a really, really big advantage for the X-T3. It's got a lot of video stuff put in there now, and it's really competing with everyone else now. It's got a lot of really good spec there. Now, when it comes to the body, the X-T3 keeps a lot of the visual design and ergonomics of the X-T2, and that's because it was already really, really nice to use and to hold and things like that. But there are some fairly key differences in terms of usability and function. So the first one is the screen. So the X-T2 had an LCD screen, but the X-T3 makes it a touch screen. And that makes a big difference. You can use it for touch focusing, touch operation, and touch to shoot, which makes usability a lot easier. The electronic viewfinder has also had a bit of an upgrade as well. So on the X-T2, it was 2.36 million dots, whereas on the X-T3, it's 3.69 million dots. So it's nice and clear, nice and detailed. It also runs at 100 frames per second, which makes it nice and smooth as well. It looks great. Now, in terms of connectivity, the X-T2 had Wi-Fi built in. The X-T3 keeps that and adds Bluetooth as well, which just makes it easy to connect with things like your phone and things like that. And finally, there's a bit of an advantage with battery as well. So where the X-T2 can shoot 340 shots, the X-T3 can shoot 390 shots on one battery. So there's a bit of an advantage there again. Now, I'm very excited to get my hands on the X-T3 again. I want to try it for photo and video and all kinds of things out in the wild, and I'm very, very excited to bring you a full review as soon as we can get our hands on it. So in the meantime, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button. I'll see you in the next video, and as always, thanks for watching.